Hi, it's Jeff Chalmers here from discoverdouble.bass.com. That's the home of video bass lessons online. So if you enjoy this one, you know where to go afterwards. Now, today I'm continuing my series of real-world gigging tips for double bassists, and I'm going to be telling you what skills you need to become the first chord bassist in your town. My first tip for double bass players is that you also play at least a bit of bass guitar. Now, you really don't need to be, Jaco Pastorius on the bass guitar, but just being able to read some simple tunes, being able to play show music will give you a lot more opportunities than you just doing double bass. And of course, it works the same way. If you're an electric bass player predominantly, I recommend, of course, that you learn double bass. But if you're an upright player, there are just so many gigs that people won't be considering you for because they don't know that you play electric. And I've had this experience myself where I play so much upright that a lot of people don't know that I also have done thousands of gigs on bass guitar. So if you want to be considered for that work, let people know that you're a doubler. Now, my second tip for you is pretty straightforward. It's learn to sight read, but don't just learn. Actually become a great sight reader. There are so few bass players out there who are excellent sight readers. And the problem is that for jazz musicians especially, we can get caught up in this world of playing through chord charts, improvising bass lines all the time. And we're not given enough professional experience to really hone our sight reading. Now, if you're a classical player, this won't be an issue because you're doing it almost every time you play the instrument. But as jazz bass players, you can do hundreds of gigs without actually reading any dots. So I really prioritize sight reading opportunities, shows, anything that I can do to keep myself, essentially sight reading in real time in live performances, which is the only way that you're going to be able to improve your skills. Now, my next tip is really for jazz bass players, and that's to make the effort to learn the chord charts that you're playing. Learn the songs, learn the melodies, but make sure that you know the chord progressions to the common sets of standards that we're playing. If you don't know All the Things You Are, Autumn Leaves, All of Me, these kinds of tunes, you really need to spend some time learning them by memory. I recently saw a friend of mine, John Marley, who runs a website called Bass Guitar Course, that I'll provide a link for you. He's written a lot of articles that are really cool actually and work for upright bass as well. Well, when I saw him play recently at a jam session, he didn't use a single chart the whole night. And he played a lot of songs that I kind of think that I should know, but I'm not quite sure about. And I would have been looking at the chart, and it really reminded me how important it is to memorize this music so you can get your head out of the chart and start interacting with people and play creatively. My next tip is that you've got to remember that as a bass player, the gig is not about you. It's about everybody else with you. And if somebody's booking you for a gig, you want to make them feel completely relaxed, completely confident that they want to work with you. So this comes down to punctuality. This comes down to not trying to get out of gigs that you've already agreed to do. It comes down to being able to come up with the goods on the night and really thinking about everybody else above yourself. And of course, when you're playing as well, you want to be focusing on making everybody else sound good by providing great, solid musical accompaniment. So just remember that music is a social it's a social business. It really matters how we get on with people. And I know that if I was booking other musicians, I wouldn't consider people who I thought might turn up late or dep the gig out or maybe, I don't know, do something on the gig that wasn't for all of our best interests. So make people feel comfortable and then they'll be booking you for their next show. Well, that's it for today. Really short lesson. I wanted to throw a bunch of ideas that I wrote down earlier and share them with you. Now, if you have ideas of your own about how you can improve your desirability as a bass player, your employability, however you want to think about it, please share them in the comments below this video. I'd love to hear what you think and if you've got any tips that could help the community. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.